G'day and welcome to Queensland Weekender and welcome to Cooloola National Park, where it feels like we're a million miles from anywhere. We're on an 88-kilometre trek through some of the most pristine and untouched wilderness in Australia. I've got a few Ks to clock up. Let's see what's on today's show.
Something to get your engines running.
Ford V Holden and the Hot Wheels, motorbikes involved, everyone's loving it.
And a wilderness camping adventure.
One of the things is that a lot of snakes like to be around wetlands.
The biggest show in Queensland. But first, join me for the best hands-on animal encounter. The giant fruit that has stood beside the Bruce Highway since the 1970s is an iconic Queensland landmark that now marks the location of Wildlife HQ Zoo.
And this is where the 200 animals from Alma Park Zoo call home. That's Marley the sun bear.
In 2014, the Alma Park Zoo site was redeveloped. At the time, several of the zoo's compassionate keepers, led by Julie Seabrook, searched for a way to rehome the zoo residents. And so Wildlife HQ Zoo was born. Jared Shank is the CEO.
A lot of animals came across with you, didn't they?
Yeah, we relocated every single animal from Alma Park Zoo to ensure they still had the same home. And we wanted to really make sure that we kept the family groups together and give them the very best new life that we could at the Big Pineapple here.
I love the thought that these animals are families and you've kind of been their family as well by ensuring they stay together.
We have definitely every animal here at the zoo has a name. This is little Ginger Rose. Every animal has a name, a personality, and we know them so well, their favourite foods, their temperaments, and it's just so important that you have that really good connection, and that just ensures that they're all happy and healthy and breeding.
And breed they have. The zoo now houses more than 400 animals. But aside from the zoo's great backstory, the opportunity for people to get so close to these animals is an experience many zoos simply don't offer.
Now, this isn't something special that's just happening for us today because we're here with a television camera. You can have the same experience, and not just with Aussie animals like sugar gliders. Oh, and they lick your fingers. Hello. But with African animals like these cheeky little meerkats. They're hungry monkeys. Or South American animals like emperor tamarins.
Hello.
Do you want to hold? Have a go. I feel a monkey on my shoulder.
A boa constrictor. Well done, Hardy. The skin's squishy.
And the one my kids have been waiting for, the Asian animal encounter with the red pandas. This is pretty special, huh? To be up this close and personal is honestly quite overwhelming. They are so beautiful, particularly these guys. You don't get to see them often.
No, so they're very active in winter time, so we do recommend people come through at winter. They are active in spring, but summertime you're not likely to see much of them.
And you know when you see a toy in a shop, you think, oh, aren't they cute? It's nothing compared to the real thing.
They are the sweetest boys as well, but you can't resist those cute faces.
And ain't that the truth? Wildlife HQ Zoo is on the Sunshine Coast, right beside the Big Pineapple. The zoo is open 9 a.m. until 4 p.m, 7 days a week. There's an influx of travellers heading west in spring that coincides with the running of a famous outback horse race in Birdsville. A week-long progressive party come road trip takes place along the way, kicking off with the Kangarangadoo Street Party in Quilpie on the 28th of August. Next stop down the track on the 29th is the Windora International Yabby Races, where crowds of punters gather in the street ready to back a Blue Claw winner. And it's just the event to whet your appetite for the remotest race meet of them all, the Birdsville Races, on the edge of the Simpson Desert. Dubbed the Melbourne Cup of the Outback, the town swells from about 100 to 6,000 to witness the action on the track. This year the races will take place from the 31st of August until the 1st of September. So, if you're curious about what could draw so many people to a tiny outpost in the desert, then start planning your trip. Combining all three events is a road trip well worth the trek, 1,500 k's west of Brisbane. For links on all the info, head to our website.
The engines are screaming, the rubber's burning, Come and join me trackside after the break.
And we meet the man who runs the biggest show in town.
Recently, I rocketed around a racetrack at over 100 k's an hour in a tiny V8 that was packing 900 horsepower. It was intense, and I'll be honest, I was a bit shaken. I hated that. I'm not gonna lie to you, that was terrifying. Never again. I'm done, let's go. Now, fortunately, that experience didn't completely put me off motorsports. Just made me realise I'm much better off as a spectator. And spectators won't be able to beat the V8 action at the Coates Hire Ipswich Super Sprint at Queensland Raceway. It's a major 3-day event on the racing calendar and makes for great family entertainment.
We'll have over 47,000 people here for the weekend, so it's on a big scale.
Shane Howard is the Supercars Chief Operating Officer.
This is one of the strongest motor racing categories in the world and the best touring car racing in the world.
Shane's not wrong. The intensity of being trackside is something I can't describe. You've got to experience it yourself. So in between the main V8 races, there's still plenty going on. These are some of the novelty races now. It's Ford v Holden and the Hot Wheels. Motorbikes involved. Everyone's loving it. A few blokes who are having an absolute blast are Ray Stevenson and his mates. They've travelled from Brisbane for the weekend and they've built a grandstand on the back of their ute. Pretty good setup you got here, Ray.
Yeah, mate. Been coming here for about 15 years. We've had the grandstand built for about 5 years.
Mate, this is perfect, so you don't need to worry about getting a seat because you drove up with it on the back.
Oh, yeah. Bringing it of a morning around the back of the truck, park it here. It's the best spot. Almost as popular as the racing itself is the chance to meet the drivers. This line goes for miles, but everyone's happy to wait and meet the champions.
Like 2010 Supercars winner James Courtney.
There's not a lot of sports where you guys are only like probably half an hour before you're racing, and yet you're out here mingling with the fans. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a good thing about our sport is, you go to the football or any other codes and you're sitting in the stand about a kilometre away from the action and they come in, they'll run out, play the game and then they disappear. But with us, they get to come in, mingle, good day out, the kids love it and fun day for everyone.
It's great. Excellent. Well, good luck today, mate.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Cheers.
Visitors can also meet the stars of tomorrow. Say g'day to 17-year-old Cameron Shields from Toowoomba.
Are you old enough to drive here, or are you?
Yeah, I got my P's a couple of months ago,
Okay.
so pretty funny. I've been racing cars for about 3 years now, and I've had a licence, so...
Yeah, right.
Cameron competes in the Formula 4s and dreams of one day racing Indy cars.
Will Power.
Yeah.
Just recently won the Indianapolis 500, and he's from Toowoomba as well, so another local guy doing extremely well overseas.
Yeah. I mean, he has got one of the best names in the business as well with Will Power. Have you thought about changing yours to like Max Speed?
Yeah, he certainly does have the name to fit a racing car driver, but no, I don't think I'll be making up any stage names too soon.
No, okay. Good on you, mate. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Young Cameron's inspired me to give racing another go.
That's no good. I think this is about as close to race car driving as I'm prepared to get. Oh, gee. I really got to keep my eye on the thing.
Virtual racing isn't all you can do in Merchandise Alley. Kids can build their own race cars in the Legoland Play Zone. And you can pick up some V8 merch, of course. Finally, if you're feeling brave, buy a ticket for an incredible chopper experience.
Now, it's all good and well to be trackside. It's another thing altogether to be topside. These are the best seats in the house if you want to see racing.
For more information about the Coates Hire Ipswich Super Sprint, jump onto our website. It's a terrific family event, and get this, kids 12 and under are free if accompanied by a paying adult. It's a great deal.
I'm Brendan Christo, Chief Executive of the R&A, and of course the R&A, as everyone knows, runs the Royal Queensland Show, or the ECA, each year. I mean, I've grown up with the show. I'm a Brisbane born and bred. It is something that I've always looked forward to as a kid, and then coming to work here and run the show has been fantastic. I mean, I always have these great memories of Sideshow Alley as a kid and walking through the cattle stalls. When I was growing up, there were three things that you loved. It was your birthday, it was Christmas, and it was the Ekka. And I think that still holds true today, 140 years on. The job's a really interesting role, running the R&A. I've been doing it since 2012, and it's very, very exciting. People do think that it is the best job in the world, and it only is for 10 days of the year, but it's far from that. There's a lot of planning that goes into it. In fact, we've got a team that work on this 12 months of the year, and everyone is really pumped and hyped for the gates to open. And when you see the smiles on people's faces, it is really rewarding.
Strawberry ice creams, all the profit goes to the Prince Charles Hospital.
It is a real personal thing. I know when I first started at the R&A, I had the memories as a child, but I didn't understand really what it stood for and why it's so important. And you know, that tie back to agriculture and the bringing of city and country together is really special. Whilst the show is fun, and we always want it to be fun, there is that higher purpose as well, and you know, that really resonates with me. It's very, very important to sort of maintain the traditions, but also make it fresh and new each year.
There's something to be said about getting outdoors and living completely off the grid for a short time.
We're down here and we're going to end up right up here.
Switching off the electronics and connecting with nature, getting back to basics, to recharge and reset. Careful the step, everyone. Well, Queensland is home to so many incredible outdoor experiences, and this is one of a kind. 88 kilometres, 5 days, 4 nights, and a whole lot of fun. Welcome to the Cooloola Great Walk. It's hard to believe that this pristine environment is so close to civilization, yet it feels so far away from everything else. To the north is a beautiful Rainbow Beach, and to our south is the glitz and glam of Noosa, which is only a few k's away. Where we're headed is the pristine wilderness of the Great Sandy National Park, and someone who knows this walk better than most is our guide, Steve Grainer from Tropical Treks.
We're walking through Wallam country and then through ancient rainforests that you can only get to by walking. That's what makes it very secluded, and it's a unique wilderness in there, and you actually feel like you're in a wilderness as well because it's peaceful and quiet. You only hear the birds, open skies, and no other lights, around either. So it's really quite unique.
The first part of our walk is along Tiawa Beach, and it's here that we get our first sign of the animals that live here.
Yep, dingo tracks. They'll come down of a night time, often down onto the beach to sort of scavenge around for things.
It's amazing to see how quickly the terrain changes. After about 2 k's of beach walking, we're headed for the bush.
These are Melaleucas, the Melaleuca quinquenervia actually, this one. It's a broadleaf paperbark, common to this Wallam country. And during the flowering they attract a lot of birds and insects and that as well.
After being a guide for many years, Steve's built up an encyclopedic knowledge of the bush and a sharp eye for things that could easily be passed.
Just as we're walking through here, we can see that there's the remains of a fire. The fire through here was about 2 years ago, and you can see some regrowth of some of the colonising plants.
And another find.
One of the things is that a lot of snakes like to be around wetlands, and we've got the wetland of Lake Coolamira behind us, so this is an area where snakes would inhabit.
As we push on and the sun dips lower in the sky, we walk our way into this evening's abode.
Okay girls, this is your little spot here.
The Latoria camp has all the basics that we need. When nature calls, a fancy looking throne, just watch out for the redbacks, and a bare patch of land to pitch a tent. And we should have it. That's how you make a tent. Steve, what is it about Latoria Camp that makes it so special?
Well, each of the camps are very different, and out of the 4 camps. So this is the 3rd night camp, and it's very special because you can see the night sky from here. It's very peaceful.
So peaceful that we can hang the boots up for the evening and relax. Jo Searle is one of the intrepid hikers along with us, and she's recently completed another adventure.
Only been back about 5 weeks. I went and did the Everest Base Camp trek.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was 12 days.
So what was about the Great Walk that brought you here?
Well, I moved up to Noosa about 5 years ago, and I've done a few sort of day walks around the place. It's nice to have a local person who knows the place, can talk about the environment that you're in. I think lots of people could do this trek.
Well, that sun's going down. What do you reckon? Grab some food?
Yeah, seems like a good idea.
Let's go. Dinner is well deserved, and tonight's dehydrated menu includes
Moroccan pork,
beef teriyaki,
beautiful.
Thanks, mate. Give that a stir. And to finish off, one of the greatest shows on earth. After the break, the Cooloola Great Walk serves up more amazing scenery. Welcome back to Queensland Weekender, where we're waking up to nature's chorus.
Nice and brisk this morning. Good to get away early, actually.
We're on an 88-kilometre hike from Noosa North Shore through the Great Sandy National Park, an unsport wilderness with challenging and diverse terrain.
Lovely piece of rainforest here we're walking through, isn't it?
Isn't it? So quiet. This walk has everything from stoic sand masses to wetlands, swamps and plains, and subtropical rainforests where tall timbers touch the sky.
A kauri pine, which is an endemic tree for this area and also in North Queensland as well. So Fraser Island, Cooloola. And you'll notice one thing about it, it actually doesn't have many things growing on it. And it's because it doesn't like anything else growing on itself, so it continuously flakes that bark off. So it is a pine, it does have a big pine cone, so don't stand underneath it for too long because sometimes they can drop that pine on your head. But we've got something really special to show you a bit further on.
The rainforest here is unique, as it's one of the only in the world that grows on sandmass. I'm astounded by the natural wonders that are here. At every hill, turn or tree, there seems to be something fascinating. Middle of a rainforest.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it to even be here.
This is Lake Puna. Formed between sand dunes, it's a perched freshwater lake that sits in the hills.
No one else here but us. What a great thing.
How about this sand? You can't get much wider than this.
No. Washed up from ocean currents over the last 2 million years.
This is a lake that few ever experience. It's a sight to see a body of water in the middle of a massive sand dune. And while it looks tempting to jump in, the reddish tinge in the water is from native tea trees, giving it a natural acidity, so swimming is discouraged. So onwards it is, and we're on the final stretch. After 87.4 k's of trekking through the bush, Steve has saved the most spectacular sight for last.
And something really special over this little hill. Welcome to the Carlo Sandblow. Woo.
This is one of Australia's natural gems that one needs to visit to fully appreciate. It's so hard to articulate its vastness. As one of the largest accumulations of windblown sand found along the Queensland coast, it forms the final feature of our Great Walk.
It's quite wide. I think we're probably looking at about 200 metres wide by perhaps 500 metres long. So once upon a time, this was actually all trees through here. And with that constant wind blowing the sand up through that crack in the forest, it's filled it up with sand and created this beautiful sand blow.
Have you got some cardboard so we can go down the hill?
Oh, mate, should do. Should do.
What a way to finish.
It feels fantastic to have finished. It's a real challenge and an achievement to have finished, which is good. Yeah, it was great.
And a big thanks to Steve from Tropical Treks. He runs these types of tours weekly. For more information on this walk and others he does, visit the Queensland Weekender website. And a few other good resources are queensland.com and the Queensland Rail Travel websites. And while you're online, give us a like on Facebook and Instagram. Well, we have finally made it. You know, there's nothing more special than being totally secluded in nature with a track pretty much all to yourself. The Cooloola Great Walk is exactly that. It is great. Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time. See you again next week.